is Chrenka, and I am going to try to tell you about 5 books in 5 or maybe 6 minutes. These are all books I've read recently and would love to recommend to you. I'm going to use my stopwatch because I tend to get a little excited and I talk a lot about books. So I'm going to start with Scar by J. Albert Mann. This is a short book, absolutely gripping. It begins with the Battle of Minnesink, which is a little-known battle in the Revolutionary War. There are 2 boys, a settler and a Mohawk warrior, both about the same age. And the very beginning of the book begins with Noah, who is not supposed to be in the battle at all. He's supposed to be assisting the doctor who is helping the settlers. He trips over a Mohawk warrior who has been wounded. And he's very angry with this warrior because he's seen villagers around him, people he's known his whole life, killed. And he lashes out at him. He ends up figuring out that he's wounded as well, but he stays with the Mohawk warrior, who he names Scar, the name of the book, because of a scar that he has on his face. And the story is told in flashbacks of Noah talking about his life, and you see that the fate of Noah and the fate of Scar are intertwined. And this is, I went over a minute, so that's all I'm going to say. It's a great book. It's a brief read. Enjoy it. Okay, 1 minute for Ghost by Jason Reynolds. Ghost's real name is Castle Crenshaw, and he's a runner and he's fast, but he's never been on a team before. And when he decides to kind of try and race the star player on the track team, he beats him, even in his baggy sweatpants and his old beat-up shoes that came from a secondhand shop. But the question is, can he stay on the team? Can he toe the line, literally and figuratively? And does he have what he needs to succeed, not only on the team, but in school? Ghost by Jason Reynolds. Great, great story. Dave Barry's The Worst Class Trip Ever. This book starts with Wyatt Palmer's and his 8th grade class going on a class trip to Washington, D.C. They're on an airplane, and they spy 2 very suspicious characters who have aerial maps of Washington, D.C. and are marking out all of the main tourist points. The boys are concerned, and they want to make sure that these men are not going to do anything bad. But of course, they're 8th graders, and they're kind of the class goofballs, and no one believes them. So they set out to prove that they are right. They follow these men, and all kinds of mishaps in Washington, D.C. commence to happen to poor old Wyatt. Anyway, Worst Class Trip Ever by Dave Barry. Space Case by Stuart Gibbs. I have never before read science fiction set on the moon murder mystery. But that is what this is. This is set in the future, and the main character, the narrator, Dash Gibson, is 12 years old, and it may come as a shock to you because he lives on the moon, but he is bored out of his skull. There is no one to talk to. The only school he has is online, and it's not a lot of interaction. And then the most popular scientist on this moon base is murdered. And he is no longer bored because he needs to figure out who the moon maniac is and what they can do to stop another murder from happening. Kate DiCamillo's Raymie, Nightingale. I wrote on my note here to read the flap, and that's what I'm gonna do. Raymie Clark has a plan. 2 days ago, her father left home with a dental hygienist. If Raymie can win the Little Miss Central Florida tire competition, then her father will see Raymie's picture in the newspaper and maybe come home. To win, not only does Raymie have to do good deeds and learn how to twirl a baton, but she also has to contend with Louisiana Elefante, who has a show business background, and Beverly Topinski, who's determined to sabotage the contest. But as the competition approaches, loneliness, loss, and unanswerable questions draw the 3 girls together and challenge each of them to come to the rescue in unexpected ways. Raymie, Nightingale by Kate DiCamillo.